So Sam, I thought this was pretty cool to have Willem Dafoe show up on set and and read the lines with the
Oh, sure
practical
thing.
stuff there. And they just don't do this kind of shit anymore. Is part of it. Because
Well, half the
it was
time
crazy.
they're not even filming in the same location. Like you got two people in the same scene, they're standing 2 feet away from each other, and they weren't even on set in the same fucking day. You know,
No.
it's it it's all camera tricks and CGI and green screen now. So yeah, this kind of thing is pretty rare, I'd imagine,
Yep.
especially
And
in light of all the restrictions that they had over the last like 4 or 5 years in terms of like people gathering and all that shit.
mhm.
And and all that stuff. So yeah, they probably have completely changed how they even make movies anymore.
And that's why I thought this was cool the other way, because I said this while you were gone. The fact that they had the practical Doc Ock arms for the scene
Oh
here,
yeah,
that's just cool. That's freaking
that's
cool.
one of
Because
the reasons that they look so good because they used practical whenever they could.
here, I'm going to wind it back while he's reading it so you can just see this as it goes. When they see it's him.
Our target is the fuel that makes this project go. There are only 25 towns on the planet. I want to thank Harry Osborne and Osborne Industries for providing it.
The whole thing is cool.
Yeah.
They're having fun, but we get a look at great practical special effects, which is non-existent almost today in modern Hollywood.
And the worst thing is like somebody brought this up on Twitter earlier today that I don't remember who it was. Somebody I don't think I even know. But somebody had asked, of course, the CGI, is it just me or is CGI getting worse? And it is. And
Yeah.
I think, but somebody else brought up this great fucking point I don't think I've ever considered. CGI companies know how much they're worth now. Studios, are trying to save a buck on that shit here and there, are going to get shit work in return.
Mm-hmm. And the problem is, you're absolutely right. It does look worse.
Mm-hmm.
And because the CGI they used in this movie 20 years ago looks better than the CGI today.
Same thing with Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
First Jurassic Park movie, the amazing CG compared to the shit we get now.
And that was combination, like with this, combination CG practical. So it was a different era where they took movie making seriously. And it wasn't just let's CGI everything up and fix it in post.
Well, also I think it's about the crunch too. You have these companies, they want to get the movies out as fast as they can, or they're fixing shit the whole time. They have to keep going back and fixing stuff, and all that. Good CG takes time. Good CG, and so if they're not giving them the time to make it really look good, they're too busy going, no, we want this out by this month. Come on, guys. Maybe that's a part of it too, is they're just pushing them, trying to get shit done quicker than they should.
Well, they did the same thing with the essentially the end of the practical effects era. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Alien versus Predator Requiem.
No.
So that movie is dark. And I mean, yeah, it's got dark themes, but I mean, like visually very, very dark. It's very hard to make out almost half of the movie and what's going on in it. And part of the reason for that is because while they used, again, practical as much as they could, dudes in suits, the construction jobs on those suits were extremely rushed.
So they dimmed it.
They kept it in the dark so you couldn't tell how bad they looked. They had a couple of really great hero shots, but otherwise, yeah, almost the entire thing was blacked out on the screen just because they didn't want you seeing how bad the special effects and the practical effects were.
It's indicative of the beginning of the era we are now in, where it's more important to make sure agenda is shoved into every inch of the script, and that the actors can go out there and speak their minds and make sure that they're getting the virtue signaling back pats and letting me know we're on your side, or we're saying the right things, instead of just going out there and making a good movie. Because one of the other things I point out in this thing is that it looks like everybody's having a good time here, and they want to be there and they want to make the best movie possible. I don't think that exists today on sets. I think these overpaid low quality actors, because we are in the era. This is the worst era of talent in Hollywood in over 100 years.
Yeah.
90% of these people have no talent. We have a few holdovers from the 80s and the 90s and part of the 2000s who are still there, but they're the holdovers. They're the last dregs of when we had some decent talent there. Majority of the talent today are worthless, and they can only do one type of shtick over and over again. They have no versatility. They cannot change up. They're not good for multiple roles. They cannot transform themselves, and they're stuck in one type of genre or one type of role that will be repeated over and over again, no matter the genre.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means there's no ability to draw forth a believable experience on film to believe that this is a different character, a new character. No, we just see the actor every time.
You know, it's funny too when you say that it looks like they want to be there. They're having fun on set. Like they, you know, and you can almost always tell when actors, like after the finished product, you watch the movie, right? You can almost always tell when the actors actually wanted to be on set, when they wanted to make this thing, when they believed in it. No matter how good or bad it turns out, you can tell that they were into it, you know, by their performance. I just watched some outtakes like 2 days ago on Twitter of from Silence of the Lambs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That is a dark fucking movie.
Yeah.
And they were having fun on set, dude. They were cracking jokes. There were, you know, multiple flubs and people laughing along with it. And I mean, it, you know, they had a couple of really great takes of Anthony Hopkins just kind of being Anthony Hopkins. You know, like they were having fun on that set, and that kind of movie, making that kind of movie can fuck a person's head up. You know?
Yeah. Or go back to that take that I know it reappears every once in a while from Raiders of the Lost Ark. After Indy and Marion escape from the tomb, there's a clip of everybody quickly resetting it so that they can do a prank on Spielberg when he comes around to check on it. And that's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's having a good time.
Well, the thing is, okay, take probably one of the biggest actors in Hollywood at this particular moment is Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
Every single role he plays Ryan Reynolds.
But I love it.
Yes, everyone does. But you can't take that and put it up against a seasoned actor like we used to have. Like you put him up against Tommy Lee Jones or Robert Duvall or
I knew you were going to bring those guys up.
Yeah, you knew it. Lonesome Dove. It happens every time. Anyway, those characters, when they could take a character and become it, and you believe them 100% that that's what they became that character. You just don't see that in any of the actors now. There's not a single one in Hollywood that I would say even remotely touch those guys. And that's and I would say they're not even as good as the generation before that, you know? And so it really is a shame that we have, Hollywood's essentially dead. I don't think
but you bring up Ryan Reynolds as an example, and when Gal made me read that horrible article this afternoon, and I mentioned this. Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds of the movie. I said that earlier today, but you know what? He's aware of that. He does say what you about Ryan Reynolds 9 times out of 10, with like maybe a couple of exceptions, like that movie where he was buried alive. That's kind of a different thing for him. But 9 times out of 10, Ryan Reynolds is not trying to be more than Ryan Reynolds when he does one of these movies. And I have a couple on my shelf behind me. I have a couple of Ryan Reynolds movies on my shelf. So I at least have respect for the fact that he's not trying to pretend to be something that he isn't.
Do you guys remember when they used to say he was like discount Dane Cook?
Yes. Yes.
Well, the thing is Hollywood also is not even trying to create roles that could stretch his acting ability or test it. They spoon feed him his roles that are him.
At this point, he makes his own roles. He does his own project at this point.
Because I mean, it used to be actors when they got kind of pigeonholed into a certain role, they prayed for that one role offered to them that it could break them out and make people see them in a different light because they were sick and tired of playing the same character. Like I said, I don't see Ryan Reynolds having a problem with it. I think he's all like, another me.
He's perfectly happy making the money.
That's kind of lame.
Perfectly.
Try-
I'm okay
try
with
to
it. I'm a
stretch
believer
yourself,
of
dude.
if you have your niche, make your fucking money. Don't try to be more than you are. If you are what you are,
Right, but like even if you put him up against however you feel about the guy personally or whatever, but if you put him up against one of his contemporaries and his friends and occasional co-stars, Hugh Jackman, right? You look at Hugh Jackman's body of
Mhm.
work, man. P.T.
Good
Barnum
comparison.
is
Yeah.
not Wolverine, is not Robert Angier, man. He
Yeah.
plays different characters. He gets
You're right.
into the roles, you know.
Well, also Hugh Jackman is also a stage actor. He does some stage stuff. So
That's
Hugh
good.
Jackman is more versatile than Ryan Reynolds. Never gonna say that. So I mean listen. I'm not a huge Nolan guy, but Hugh Jackman in The Prestige is damn fucking good.
That was the last one I mentioned. Robert Angier. He was
Oh,
fucking
okay.
incredible in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the character name. I've only seen it like twice, so I don't know the character's name.
It's one of my
But-
favorite Nolan movies. It's pretty good.
I'm sure at some point it'll make its way onto drive-in. At some point it'll happen. But yeah, that's a good comparison. But see, Hugh Jackman also he goes for the roles where he can get out of it what he wants. Like he'll take a break from doing movies and he'll go to Broadway and do shit and be gay over there. So but either way, as good as Hugh Jackman can be in some ways, he is still not at the level of what I'm talking about in ages past. He's a holdover. Hugh Jackman is a holdover from the 90s and the 2000s. He's not part of the current crop. And to my overall point is that it is just continually disappointing to watch people who do not have talent walk around and be praised as having talent, and we're forced to watch them put out these dreck movies one after another. And and this is why I think I said this last week. This is why I don't care about new movies anymore. I don't. It's kind of pointless. At this rate, I only watch a new movie if it's a shit movie that I have to watch for channel purposes. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.